All right, so Jamal and Florence both have lemonade stands. The profit earned from Jamal's lemonade stand for selling X cups of lemonade is represented by the equation y equals 1.5x minus 7. And the profit earned from Florence's lemonade stand for selling X cups of lemonade is represented by the equation y equals 1.25x minus 8. So we want to find out which statement is true. The first thing I want to point out is that this is a system of equations example. This is a systems of equations. Okay. So it says, which statement is true? The price of each cup of lemonade is the same at the lemonade stand. So if we look at this first one, it's y equals 1.5x minus 7. So the profit would be y. Y would be the profit. So let's put it down here. Y is the profit. The 1.5, so the slope, I'm gonna put m is equal to 1.5, which is the amount, the cost, I'm sorry, not the amount. The cost of lemonade, so it's what he charged per lemonade. And then the y-intercept, which is the minus 7, that's what Jamal has to pay in order to have a lemonade stand, all right? So that's the fee. So he got to take $7 away. So y equals 1.57 means that they charge 1.57 for the lemonade, so the price of his lemonade, but then the price of the other person's lemonade is 1.25, which is $1.25. So no, they don't have the same price. Okay, so we are looking at the slope right here. That is what they're charging. So the price of each cup of lemonade is 25 cents less at Florence's lemonade stand compared to Jamal's lemonade stand. So Jamal's lemonade stand is $1.50, and Florence's lemonade stand is $1.25. So it says the price of each cup of lemonade is 25 cents less at Florence's compared to Jamal's. This is a true statement, all right? That is a true statement. So let's go ahead and select this answer. Okay, but it says the price of each cup of lemonade is 25 cents more at Florence's. That is not true. Florence's is actually less. So we're gonna mark that off. And then there's not enough information. There is enough information. So our answer would be B, okay? The answer would be B. All right, so now let's go ahead on to the next problem. It says, how many cups of lemonade must Jamal and Florence sell to profit to make, which is what profit means, to make the same amount of money? Use the equations below. So the equations that we are using is going to be that system of equations that we had, which is y, oh, that's kind of like that. All right, so we have y is equal to 1.5x minus 7, and y is equal to 1.25x minus 8. Now remember, with having these two equations, in order to find the amount of cups that they have to sell to make the same amount of money, we have to do the systems of equations by substitution. So it is saying y is equal to 1.57. We're going to take 1.5x minus 7, and we're going to substitute it where y goes, because it says y is equal to that. So that means I would have an equation on both sides of my equal sign. So 1.5x minus 7 is equal to 1.25x minus 8. And now I am going to solve for my variable, which is x. I want to get x by itself. All right, so I am going to subtract 1.25x from both sides. Okay, and bring down my minus 8. 1.5 minus 1.25 is going to leave me with 0.25, right? $1.50 minus $1.25 is going to leave you with 25 cents. Let me scoop that over. And bring down my -7. Now I am going to add 7 to both sides. All right, and 0.25x equal -8 plus 7 is going to give me -1. All right, so now I have to keep going to get x by itself. So I am now going to divide both sides by 0.25 to get x by itself. All right, now I have -1 divided by 0.25. Okay, -1 divided by 0.25, and I will get -4. Now, it is impossible to sell -4 cups, right? It is impossible to sell -4 cups. But this is the answer that we get when we solve for x. So at this point, I would say they won't sell the same amount, or they won't make the same amount. All right, because they can't sell -4 cups, but that's what we get when we solve for x. All right, so let's move on. It says the total cost of building a brick pathway outside of a school involves the cost of bricks and the cost of labor. The length of the pathway is p meters and the width of the pathway is 2 meters. If the expression 30 times 2p plus 250 gives the total cost of the brick pathway, what does the number 30 represent? All right, so it says the area of the brick pathway is square meters, that's A. The cost of labor per hour is B. The cost of the bricks per square meter is C. And the total cost of the labor. So let's read this again. It says the total cost of building a brick pathway outside of school involves the cost of bricks. So we have cost of bricks. All right. And the cost of labor. So we would say cost of bricks plus the cost of labor. All right, the length of the pathway is p meters, and the width is 2 meters. So that's where that 2p comes from. All right, so if we're looking at the cost of bricks, that would be 30 times, in order to know the bricks, the pathway, we would have the 2p, and then plus 250 would be the cost of labor. So 30 would be the cost of the bricks per square meter, which would be C, because we're talking about the cost of bricks. All right, so using the equation 30 times 2p plus 250, find the total size of the pathway if the length was 5 meters, or the total cost is what I meant to say. So we would erase that and put the total cost. All right, so, uh-oh. All right, so let's scratch this out and say find the total cost if the length was 5 meters. So in the earlier example, we knew that the width was 2 and we don't know what the length is. So we're gonna say 30 times 2 times 5 plus 250. All right, and let's see what that equals if we were to simplify it. We first have to do with PEMDAS, we have to do parentheses first. So 2 times 5 is 10 plus 250. And then we have to do multiplication. So 30 times 10 is 300. This is for you, for those of you who may struggle with that, plus 250. And then 300 plus 250 is 550. And that's what you should have gotten. All right, Carlos is renovating a house and hires a plumber to install the piping for the new bathroom. The plumber charges an initial fee plus an hourly rate for the number of hours it will take to complete the installation. The function y equals 100 plus 35x can be used to model the total cost of the job in dollars. What does the slope in the expression of this function represent? So the y-intercept is always the starting point, which is 100. All right, the y-intercept is always the starting point. So it is the actual initial fee plus an hourly rate for the number of hours, right? That's very important. So if the initial fee is 100, then the 35 is the hourly rate per hours. All right, so if we look at A, it says the initial fee for the installation is 35. That is incorrect. The initial fee is $100. It says the initial fee for the installation is $100. That is correct, but that is the y-intercept. That is not the slope, okay? And then the cost per hour of installation work is $35, and this is our answer. All right, D is not the answer because it says the number of hours to complete the installation. We don't know the number of hours. We just know what it costs. All right, so this is the same problem that we just had. The only difference is that now I wanted you guys to be able to tell me what the y-intercept of this function is. So remember, the initial fee is always the y-intercept. The y-intercept here is 100. So the y-intercept is $100. And that is the initial fee for installation. The initial fee for installation is the y-intercept. All right, that is all. Now on to your exit ticket. Make sure you do your homework. It will be posted in Google Classroom. Have a blessed day.